Adversity is a mentor that prosperity cannot replace. If you can imagine a childhood wherein running a ceiling fan for more than 30 minutes was a luxury, if the only pair of new clothes which you get in a year is all your school uniform, then you will understand the world from where I came in. I belong to a lower middle class, born in a fishing hamlet in a corner of a city which is not known for all the right reasons. Poverty was the air which we breathed in, right? And that was the backdrop of all the decisions which we made. The sacrifices was again based on all the poverty. And for some reason, the generation after generation in my area made peace with it. They were living, understanding that they will always be in such a condition. But I refused to accept it. I refused to accept defeat. It's not that I was incredibly gifted, neither I had a magical blueprint which will elevate me, but I had trust, a faith which kept telling me that when you deeply believe in something and take the first step, the universe will conspire and will make it a reality. So I persevered, I continued, and I completed my graduation as a gold medalist. Through that, I did get a job, and then life seems to be settling. My first job in the corporate was more like a baptism through fire. But slowly I persevered, and I was getting a fat paycheck. My bonuses were coming in, and then I shifted to the land of opportunities. At that point in time, I could afford to run an AC without worrying about the electricity bill, and I had a wardrobe full of clothes which I didn't care to count in. I was just thinking life was settling in, and I have arrived, and I was about to put a full stop, saying that happily ever after, life had a different thought. Instead of a full stop, it put in a comma. So I was in US working in a super beast mode, managing multiple clients. Then I developed a cyst which was progressively growing in. I was always thinking, okay, that was because of my overindulgence with chicken. But the situation got aggravated, and at one point in time, it led to me to have a blood vomit. I couldn't wait. I ran to the ER, and there I was admitted. There were scores of doctors around me discussing about some incomprehensive jargons, medical jargons, which I couldn't make anything out of it, but one word was going all around, that was cancer. Panic set in, and I was sedated. When I got up, I was on the 13th floor, and I had a battery of tests and a procedure which was there scheduled on the third day. I was brought up in a generation looking at Indian cinema, which was misleading. Always cancer means it was equated to death. And I had always, the way they end the life of a protagonist is a doctor with a husky voice and a grim face, dramatically adjusting his spectacle, will come in and say, this is the diagnosis. So the fear of death started gripping me. And on those 3 days, the life came in front of me frame by frame. It was entirely flashing in front of me. And I was totally down, don't know what to do. At that point in time, I realized more than the fear of death, more than my life getting shortened, what was deeply worrying me is a load of regrets. A regret of not doing enough to my people and not tapping into my full potential. On that day, I was helpless and hopeless. I was just feeling like a student who, at the beginning of every academic year, they make a firm resolution that I will complete my lesson every day and I will stay on the top of the game, but they keep missing each and every day just to enter the exam hall, cursing and blaming themselves. I was exactly in that situation. On the third day, a nurse walked in saying that the test came negative. I was not having cancer, but I will be treated for some other bacterial infection. A medley of emotion struck me. My ambitions, my desires was going high. It was a very bittersweet moment, but at that point in time, I know death is inevitable. Someday, again in my life, I will be facing death. But what I can avoid is, on that day, I don't want to have a lot of regrets. I want to have moments of rejoicing and very less regrets. With that decision, I left my high-paying job and with all the comforts that came along with it, and I landed back in India. When I came to India, I didn't know what I will do, where I will start, and I had a set of cynics who were discouraging me, saying that, okay, service is all reserved for the post-retirement age, or you can just give a lump sum to some trust and keep moving on. But I again refused to accept the defeat, because deep in me, I know that when I believe in something and take the first step, the universe will conspire and complete the rest of the journey. In a school reunion, we met a friend who shared his heartbreak. His spouse just died of cancer, and it was in a palliative care. The concept of palliative care was very new to India. We three of us, we just went into the palliative care, started dealing and talking to the patients, holding their hands, and we started putting in our own money and supporting them in whichever way it is possible. Heads down, we were doing this for 2 quarters on every weekend. Word of mouth spread, and slowly a group of 3 became a group of 10. A community was getting shaped. And then we started to see those patients, they had difficulty in going even to the washrooms. So we started getting diapers for them. And this diapers took us from a palliative care directly to the pediatric care, where children were there. They were having surgery, and they were also having the same difficulty that they needed diapers. So we started supporting them, and slowly our community was growing. And then we also saw that these children were always in the hospital. That is not the place where they are supposed to be. So we started bringing in oncologists, bringing in doctors, bringing in dietitians. We made meticulous plan and started taking them on vacation. Started taking them out with utmost care. And then the interaction started more and more. Our team was growing. And we didn't end there. Then when we started looking at them, we saw that many of these parents, they were coming from remote corners of this country and in the state just to heal their children. And they were all daily laborers. They were not able to afford even 1 meal per day. But all they were carrying is hope that their child will one day be okay and they will return back to the school. In such cases, we started a program for them, Anandam, wherein even today, the entire ward of children with blood cancer and their parents, when they get up, they are served breakfast from my team. We didn't stop there. We did see that a PET scan or an MRI scan, those are becoming unaffordable. For a daily laborer, it is a 70 days wages put together. And there are many uninsured. Even those who are insured, their fine prints make it convenient for the companies to deny them the coverage. In such cases, the treatment was getting delayed. So we went ahead, started talking to those diagnostic lab, started getting into partnership, and created a way that we subsidized all this very, very important procedures up to 90%. so that no child will be left behind. Then though we were supporting in all these ways, there were children who couldn't meet the end. They were losing their battles in the cancer, and their parents were becoming emotionally unstable. They needed counseling. They needed some financial support even to bury their children. And that is where we came up with a program called Shantivan, wherein we were supporting them both emotionally as well as financially. On one side, when we were doing all this great work, we could also see that there were children who were hale and healthy, especially girls, but who couldn't afford to complete their schooling because they didn't have either one of the parent or both the parents. And they were getting slowly into shops, doing all menial jobs, whereas their marks were meritorious. That is when we started a program called Vidya Bharati. The first edition, we had 37 girls, we were sponsoring them, and slowly the program grew. Today, as I speak, 150 girls are completing their education just because we are able to support them. And not only that, soon I will be having 500 daughters. That is the target which we have for this year. And besides that, we also help them in a way wherein they are put into programs for financial literacy, digital literacy, as well as self-defense. Anything which a child in an upper class will get, even my daughters will be getting the same. So that they are well prepared, they are having high hopes, and they will be bold enough when they step inside this world. I can keep narrating more and more programs, what we do for senior citizens, for the children who are in the roadside, but the objective is not that. The objective is, whenever we get a program, we don't decide based on what it needs as a budget. We don't decide based on the depth of the network which we have, neither on the breadth of the expertise which we carry, but we decide based on one criteria, whether it will put smiles on their faces. If it is so, we greenlit the program. And that is how today we are a 1,000-member strong team, what started with 3. And the question which I have is, what made this 1,000-member come together to put a heart and soul for a dream which was born in the darkest hour in an hospital bed in a foreign country? Because we dared to dream. We took the first step. So people came in. So if you are someone who has a dream to start a startup, or to generate wealth for yourself and the community, or to launch a mission, a social mission like what we did, then don't wait for perfection. Perfection is a myth that will keep you stranded as life goes ahead. Don't wait for the entire path to be unraveled. Don't wait for all the blind spots to disappear, but trust in yourself. Close your eyes, take a deep breath, and listen to yourself. You will hear the nature telling you in no uncertain terms, when you deeply believe in yourself and take the first step, the entire universe will conspire and will complete the journey for you. Thank you.